Soft, echoing footsteps. A vast chamber of marble and metal. Hundreds of alien eyes watching. For 5 long years, Ambassador William Harris had endured humiliation in this very hall, the so-called heart of the Galactic Council. He had watched humanity be talked over, ignored, and treated like a naive child among ancient species. He had swallowed insults, endured discrimination, and fought against silent political chains placed on humanity. But today, something inside him finally snapped. With slow, calm determination, Harris rose from his seat. His movement alone brought the entire chamber to silence. Conversations died mid-sentence. Eye stalks froze, wings folded, claws stopped tapping the tables. Every species, from the towering warborn Zerkath to the shimmering crystalline Kalari, turned toward the lone human rising from the shadows of the chamber. "Members of the Galactic Council," Harris began, his voice cutting through the silence like a blade. "For years you have mocked us, restricted us, feared what we might become." He tapped a command on his datapad. Behind him, holographic screens burst to life, illuminating the chamber with damning evidence. Classified documents, secret directives, seized transmissions, every message pointing to one truth: a coordinated plan to weaken humanity. Strip its colonies. Confiscate its resources. A plan to remove humans from the Council forever. Gasps echoed across the chamber. Some froze in guilt. Harris continued, stepping forward with cold precision. Others in fear. "You sought to cut out our voice. You believed humanity was too young, too weak, too simple to deserve a seat at your table." His tone sharpened. "You were wrong." Another wave of murmurs. Nervous, disbelieving, terrified. Harris raised his chin. "We will not stand here and beg for respect," he declared, "from this moment forward." He paused, letting the weight of history gather behind every word. "The Human Federation officially withdraws from the Galactic Council." Silence. Absolute, suffocating silence. Then Harris turned, calm, fearless, and walked down the center of the chamber. His footsteps echoed louder now, each one striking like a war drum. No guards moved to stop him. Even the council president, once so bold, watched in stunned paralysis. No species dared speak. As the massive chamber doors closed behind him with a thunderous metallic boom, one truth became clear. Humanity was no longer kneeling. Humanity was no longer asking. Humanity had just taken its first true step toward independence. The galaxy panicked. News of humanity's withdrawal spread like wildfire, shaking every major government across the stars. Trade routes stalled. Border patrols doubled. Rumors exploded. The humans are planning something. They're unpredictable. They're dangerous. But none of them knew the truth. Because at that very moment, Earth had begun activating a plan older than the Council itself. Plan Omega. A contingency whispered only in the darkest rooms of human intelligence. A strategy so advanced that even the Council's best spies never detected its existence. And now, it was waking up. Across Earth's surface, massive shield generators, buried for decades under deserts, mountains, and oceans, roared online. Entire tectonic plates vibrated as glowing blue domes formed around cities and military zones. On the dark side of the moon, metallic dust parted like a curtain, revealing vast shipyards hidden beneath nanotech camouflage. Thousands of unfinished vessels, some larger than Council dreadnoughts, lit up for the first time. In the Kuiper Belt, Black Ops stations the Council never knew existed powered on, their AI cores humming with eerie precision. Then came the biggest shock. Humanity vanished. Every human ship, from cargo haulers to scout frigates, disappeared from public channels. Colonies locked down. Trade hubs shut off communication. Military fleets jumped into unregistered coordinates. To the outside world, it looked like collapse. But inside human space, it was something else entirely. Preparation, discipline, unity. Human worlds coordinated like a single organism. Civilians were relocated to secured zones. Defense platforms moved into position. Entire star systems went into blackout mode. No messages left human space. No answers were given. Only silence. A silence that terrified the galaxy far more than anything humans could have said. Because everyone knew one thing. The humans didn't run. They were getting ready. For what? Nobody could even guess.
The council responded exactly as humanity knew they would. With arrogance. With laughter. With absolute, blinding pride. "They will return begging," sneered the Zercast speaker, his armored plates rattling with amusement. "Humans cannot survive without our guidance. They are children pretending to be warriors." Dozens of counselors nodded, their voices dripping with condescension. They lack infrastructure. They lack allies. They lack the maturity to govern themselves. Not a single one considered the possibility that humans walked away out of strength, not desperation. And yet, the galaxy began to feel the consequences almost immediately. Without human engineers, trade lanes faltered. Without human technicians, orbital repair yards slowed to a crawl. Without human freighters, colonies began experiencing shortages of basic supplies. For decades, humanity had quietly supported the Council's most fragile systems, stabilizing what no other species bothered to maintain. And now, the cracks were showing. But the real nightmare came from the outer rim. The moment human fleets vanished, the Promaxian raiders, once held in check by Earth's relentless patrols, launched coordinated strikes across 3 Council sectors. Stations burned. Freighters vanished. Border colonies fell into panic. Council fleets scrambled, but they were slow, disorganized, and unfamiliar with the routes humanity had protected for generations. And as distress signals flooded the Council chamber, one truth settled over them like a suffocating shadow. For the first time in 100 years, the humans weren't there to save them. What the Council once called meddling suddenly felt like protection. And without that protection, the galaxy was starting to collapse. A month passed, and the galaxy began to tremble under a truth it had long ignored. A Council cruiser patrolling near the rim was besieged by raiders. Its distress signals echoed into the void, unanswered. Then, like shadows emerging from the stars, dozens of sleek black ships decloaked. Human ships. But these were not the outdated vessels the Council remembered. These were war machines reborn, faster, stronger, armored with adaptive plating, and protected by quantum shields that made energy weapons glance harmlessly off their hulls. In minutes, the raiders were annihilated. No mercy, no hesitation. Just precision. The Council captain, trembling, stared at the fleet. When did humanity build these? No answer came. Humanity's silence was deafening. And when the Council attempted to buy Element 935, the lifeblood of their industries, human colonies refused. Trade suspended, indefinitely, the message read. Within weeks, entire sectors of the galaxy faltered. Production grids failed. Power systems went dark. Commerce, once the Council's pride, stalled. Finally, the Council understood. They hadn't lost a member. They had lost the species holding half their economy and half their peace together. Meanwhile, on Earth, humanity's past revealed itself in fragments of stone, ice, and steel. Dr. Siv and his researchers had stumbled upon evidence that would rewrite galactic history. Hidden deep in pyramids, frozen caves, and oceanic trenches were artifacts of unimaginable sophistication. Hieroglyphs that depicted not just a species, but interstellar navigators. Records chronicling humans saving other civilizations from cosmic catastrophes, then vanishing without a trace. Humanity had deliberately hidden. Not from invaders, not from rivals, but from the galaxy itself. Even their genetics told a story older than the Council. Ancient signatures that predated most known species. The revelation struck hard. Humans weren't the young upstarts the Council had belittled. They were ancient, powerful, and far older than anyone had dared imagine. Humanity's withdrawal from the Council was not just a political move. It was the awakening of a species whose history had always been larger than the galaxy itself. For the first time in centuries, the Council felt the weight of humility. Their arrogance shattered, their pride bruised. They sent a diplomatic envoy to Earth. Not with threats. Not with ultimatums. Not with the veiled intimidation that had worked for generations. They came with an offer. Full membership. Equal voting rights. Leadership rotation. Privileges humanity had been denied for decades. Earth responded, deliberately measured. Human fleets patrolled every orbit, every colony fortified, every strategic point secured. Trade remained frozen. Communication lines remained carefully monitored. Ambassador William Harris, humanity's voice in the galaxy, replied with a single, firm statement. We will talk, but as equals, not as subjects. The words echoed across the council chambers, calm yet unyielding. For the first time, the galaxy witnessed humans negotiate from a position of strength, not desperation. And in that silence, one truth became undeniable. Humanity had returned, not to beg, not to plead, but to command respect. The negotiations began, not with threats, not with ultimatums, but with clarity. We do not seek dominance, President Grant declared before the council. We seek partnership. Humanity had the advantage. They could have demanded rule over the galaxy. They could have crushed opposition. They could have left the council weakened, fractured, begging. But they did not. Instead, they offered collaboration, shared science, coordinated defense, open trade under fair and equitable terms. For the first time, the council saw the humans as they truly were. Not conquerors, not usurpers, but partners. The galaxy realized it had underestimated the species that prized peace as fiercely as war, that understood that true strength lay not in domination, but in cooperation. Humanity had shown that power, when guided by restraint and strategy, earned respect far greater than fear ever could. With diplomacy stabilized, humanity unveiled secrets the galaxy had never suspected. Hidden colonies, invisible to the Council's sensors, thrived. Massive shield domes shimmered over sprawling cities. Terraforming towers reshaped barren worlds. Quantum relay networks pulsed across star systems, faster than anyone had imagined. Human trade routes stretched far beyond the Council's reach. Alliances were formed with species the galactic core had long overlooked. Ancient relics, scattered across distant planets, confirmed what historians had only whispered. Humans had once guided civilizations. They had taught. They had protected. And now, they were ready to do it again. But this time, it wasn't conquest they sought. It wasn't dominion. It was something far greater. the uplifting of the stars themselves. Humanity had returned, not to rule, but to lead, not to fight, but to inspire. And the galaxy was finally beginning to see why humans were different and why they could never be underestimated.